Hey there, I'm Lance and I'm a gamer.
And I'm Sam and I'm a non-gamer.
We are Love to Hate, where we help gamers find great games to play with non-gamers.
And today we're taking a look at Widgets and Digits by Friendly Bee Games.
Widgets and Digits is a game that is coming to crowdfunding here in the near future, so make sure to check out the link down below in the description of this video after you watch it, and it'll take you to the campaign page. But this is a game in which you are going to be a company that is trying to sell your particular widget for some digits. And what a widget is just some sort of invention that you get to make in this game. But this game is all about buying different type of assets that are going to help your company to become more efficient and help you to produce more products that you can turn into cash after every quarter or every round in this case. And the game lasts only 4 rounds long. Let's go down to the table. I'll show you how this one works, and then we'll come back and share our thoughts on it as a gamer and non-gamer. Alright, I have Widgets and Digits on the table. Let me show you about this game, about making a company and inventing things and trying to sell your widgets for digits. The player who has the most money in this game is going to be the winner. Now, I do want to make sure you understand everything you see here is prototype, the final artwork components, and maybe even some of the rules might change once it's released from crowdfunding. That being said, what you got here with this game, you're going to have a central board here that's going to keep track of what round you're in. And you also have 3 different markets in the game. You've got raw materials market with the different tokens that represent the raw materials, a parts market with the parts themselves, and a finished goods market with the finished goods tokens. You do have some paper money in the game. You do have player boards for each player to keep track of your different company. And you do have a notepad here. Each player is going to get one of these pieces of paper where you're going to come up with your widget, what it does, and a catchy slogan for your widget. On the back of these is the round order tracker. And to give you an idea here of what one looks like, we just played a game here. My widget was Party Poppers, creates an instant party environment with party attendees. My slogan, let's get this party poppin'. So there you go. And then you keep track of your score down here at the bottom. Now, how this game works, I'm going to go over the base rules game, and then I'll tell you how the different modules change up the rules for this game. There are 2 different modules. But for the base game, what's going to be happening in this game, you'll have a first player who has this first player token, and this will be passed round clockwise as the rounds progress in this game. The first phase is going to start with the first player, and that is a buying and selling phase, where you are going to be buying cards or different tokens that you see out here, or you could be possibly selling them back. Now, what the idea with the game is, I'm going to have to explain what you're going to be doing in order for you to understand the buying and selling phase. But what you'll be doing is running your factory every round, and it's this conveyor belt here that's at the top of your board. This is a Tableau-Building game in which you are going to be improving upon your Tableau and becoming more efficient and a better company. Every round you will produce 1 raw material, and you'll be able to turn that 1 raw material into a part, and you'll be able to turn that part into a finished good, and you'll be able to turn that finished good into $20. So that's the base, what you'll be doing every round, but you'll want to improve upon that by purchasing these cards down here, such as Steve. Now, Steve has got a $12 cost. You're going to have to spend $12 in order to hire Steve, and Steve right here, the only one who gets any work done around here. Every card's going to have some flavor text on it. And at the bottom here, it will show you what Steve does. He turns 4 raw materials into parts. And that is better than the 1 raw material into part. That's your fabrication, your base fabrication. So Steve is going to improve upon that. But again, he's going to cost you $12. Also, at the end of every round, he's going to cost you $5 additional in order to retain Steve, because Steve's got a wage, so to speak. And so you can purchase as many of these cards down here as you want. This does not refill until after your turn is over and it's the next player's turn. Or you can buy tokens from the market, paying the cost of whatever row you're currently on. So in other words, I could purchase a part right right now for $8. And you do in a 2-player game, you clear out everything that's on the right side here of the construction line there. So anyhow, that's how that works. Every player will have a chance to buy things that you see out here. And again, this market does refill for each player. Then you will run your company. Again, I've already kind of shown you what that looks like, but if you have cards on here, you're going to be improving the efficiency of your company, and you'll be making money as you do that. And with the money that you have, you'll be able to buy more things in the future rounds, get more parts, or you could sell those things back to the market. If you ever needed to, you could sell a card for whatever is listed right here. Obviously, that's not going to be a good outcome for you, but if you got in a pinch and you really needed some money, you could sell these cards for whatever is listed right here. Now, at the end of a round, you are going to have to pay $1 extra for any tokens that you still have somewhere on your board because you aren't able to convert this into anything. So you could put it down here and spend $1, or you could sell these back into the market, filling in any open holes, getting the cost right here. And so as you can see, the supply and demand is going to affect the payout for what these tokens are worth. You'll advance this one space forward, and you'll rotate the first player token, and you'll just continue on with the game to see who has the most money at the end of the fourth quarter. The dollar signs right here do let you spend that dollar amount, depending on what round it is in, to refresh what is in the market. You'll discard all the cards, and you'll put out new cards into the market and see what you can get out of that. I do want to point out these cards are really great. Marketing Guru, after Downward Dog comes Upward Growth, or Professional Sign Twirler. I can't read the sign, but it's just so impressive to watch. Those are really fun. Anyhow, that's the base game here. Let me talk to you about the different modules. You've got the Boardroom Battle module, which is going to have a new deck of cards to replace this deck. And it's just a lot of new cards that are going to spice up the game. But really what these cards really do, the cards that have the blue border on them, they're going to have an action that you can do on the card depending on what the text says. So that's an additional thing that is really going to spice up the game. I did forget to mention that whether you're playing with the original cards or the Boardroom Battle, you also count up the resale value to add to how much money you have at the end of the game to determine who is the winner, because it's not just how much cash on hand you have, but your assets as well that determines your net worth. And so that's something that you do get to add into the final value of your company. Now, the other module that you can do is the labor market module, and that's where this section of the board is going to come into play. You do have these cubes that are going to act as laborers. You'll start the game with so many of these, but then there's going to be a number of available ones that you can hire for you. It's going to be 2 times the number of players in the game, and everybody has a labor bid price on their boards. You'll use this token to indicate how much you're willing to bid to hire these workers out here if you're going to hire any. You'll bid in player turn order, and whoever ends up bidding the highest gets first crack at hiring however many workers you want to hire. Well, what are workers good for? Workers are good for running the different cards or your base board here. Going back to this number right here, I told you in the base game, this is the price that you have to pay in order to retain this card. But in the labor module, you are going to need a number of laborers to even run this particular section of your board. And so in other words, I need 3 laborers underneath this retail section of my board using these spots right here. And if I don't have 3, then I can't even run this part of my board. So that's where the laborers come into effect. You are going to have to pay $1 per laborer to pay them. That's their wage. And so it's not just about getting them, but you have to pay them to retain them. And if you don't pay them, well, you do have to pay them no matter what, but you can fire them at the end of the round if you don't feel like you need them for the next round. Anyhow, that's the different modules. The end of the game is still the same. Whoever has the most money plus your assets, this number on all the cards that you've purchased throughout the course of the game, that's going to determine your winner, and that is how you play Widgets and Digits. Let's go back up top and share our thoughts on this one.
And we're back, and now we're going to share our thoughts on Widgets and Digits from a gamer and non-gamer's perspective.
So Sam, first thing I want to ask you about this one is the nice polished clean look that this game has, because that's the first thing that sticks out to me is it looks very polished, and by polished I mean it looks like, like this is a game that you would expect maybe from a high top quality publisher. And it looks really nice out on the table. What did you experience with that as a non-gamer?
Yeah, I thought so too. I think the boards are pretty easy. There is iconography, but it's pretty clear. It's not too cluttered. So for a non-gamer, that's really important so that they know kind of what each area does. And I had a few questions, but for the most part, it is very clear.
Yeah, the gameplay here is pretty simple, right? Like you are buying and selling things. You are trying to make your conveyor belt company production to be as efficient as possible with this game. And if you've got that concept in mind, I think the rest of the game seems to fall in line with that idea, right? And in that case, it's pretty thematic, right? Like you really do kind of feel like you're the top brass at a company trying to run your company, right? Like, did you get that in the gameplay?
Yeah, for sure.
Now, for me, I felt like the fun part with this game are those cards, right? Like trying to find the right cards and lining it up with your dollars to make sure that you're making money in this game. What was that like for you?
Well, I think we played it a couple times. So the first time I thought that you just wanted to upgrade the cards, but you do realize that sometimes it's more beneficial just to buy the
tokens or the parts, the raw materials.
And put that where you want it versus buying the whole card. And sometimes it's more beneficial to buy the card. And then sometimes what the card has on it is beneficial. So not necessarily the function of it, but just the extra that it gives you.
And so she's talking about the boardroom battle module that you can play with, where you have those cards that have special actions on them. And I feel like that adds a lot with this game because, you add in that extra layer of, well, now I got to consider the special action that the card provides. Is it worth it to spend the money to get that?
And you have to say, okay, we're already on the third round. There's only one more round. So how much do I want to invest when it's only going to pay off one time?
And then you add in the laborers module with this game, where you have to have the right number of workers to activate a certain section of your production line.
Yeah.
I like that little spiciness of thinking that goes along with it too. And it definitely makes the game feel, I wouldn't say more difficult, but it makes the game more challenging in the sense of now I need to really think about this extra thing to make sure I'm being successful here. There's more ways to not be successful, I guess is the way I'm trying to look at it. And to me, I really enjoy that with the game, adding in that extra layer. I'll tell you, I'm not very good at this game. I stink at this game.
It's because I do our budget in the family.
But I really enjoyed my playing in this one, even in a losing cause. I have not won this game yet, but I really enjoy what happens with this game and the different types of thinking that you have to do, and that it is kind of a long-term planning. I say long-term, the game's only 4 rounds, so it's a really quick game. But long-term in the sense of like what Sam was saying, there's only 2 more rounds left in the game. Is it really worth it to get this sort of thing, right? Like that sort of thinking. So.
And I think the more you play it, you kind of realize which area is most beneficial. I personally think it's the green and the purple, because the black and the red are cheaper to just buy.
Sure, yeah.
But
it depends on what cards come out.
Yeah, it totally depends on the cards, but you kind of figure that out the more you play, and you can kind of have a different strategy each time.
Really fascinating game here, guys. I think it's going to be one that's going to drive a lot of conversation around it, and there's going to be some people out there that have a really good time with this game. So the game is Widgets and Digits. It is from Friendly Bee Game Company. It is running on crowdfunding, so make sure to check out that link down below in the description of this video.
Make sure to like and subscribe and push that bell button so you get notifications of all our new content.
I'm Lance.
I'm Sam.
And we are Love to Hate, where we try to bridge the gap between gamers and non-gamers. We'll catch you next time.